Hello everybody and welcome back to another discussion. As you can see, I'm standing because I thought you'd get a better view of the fans that way. And yeah, so today I am actually recording this. This is a little bit more of I guess it's kind of serious. Well, it's more important than anything. So when I was younger, we're once again delving into childhood here, even though this was probably one of my favorite parts about childhood. During this time, there was a website that had a bunch of amazing old catalogs, some from the 90s, some from the 2000s, and then they even had some more current ones as well. And I believe it went under two different names. There was both a Gexpro, I don't know, it was Gexpro, and then also Rexel, which is Rexel. And they had basically like an online digital version of a bunch of catalogs. If you don't know who those people are, they're basically just like electrical product suppliers, I guess is the best way I could put it. But yes, they had tons of online catalogs and they appeared to be scans. Now, Dan Newman has actually featured one catalog, probably one of the cooler catalogs, on his channel. It's that Craft Made one from the early 90s. That one was on there for as long as I could remember. For the longest time, I just took the fact that it was from 2010, of course. As a child, I did not realize, of course, the internet is full of crap. For example, I looked up oxidation, and Google told me the process of being oxidized. Well, no crap. But anyways, yeah, so along with that, though, there were tons of other catalogs. To name drop a few, there was I believe, a 1994 Hunter. Luckily, we do have scans of this one. And there was a 2007 Emerson. I believe they had like a 2007 Newtone fans, or 2010, somewhere around there. They also had a 1997, I want to say. Yeah, a 1997 Sonic catalog. And this is a different one, not the one Dan featured. That had a lot of really cool fans in it. And then there was also I believe the Concorde 97 was on there. And then there was, let's see, 2006, 7, and 8 Hunter Prestige. 2007 and 8 regular Hunter. There was also 2013 and I believe like 2012, maybe 2011, 2010 Casablanca. Of course, most of these we have seen, or we have somebody else who owns or has recorded, but a couple of these not. And there are tons of other ones. I believe they had the complete early Kitchener collection as well, up until about 2010, which at 2010 I've got moving up. And there was nothing really interesting in there, but it was more interesting just to see it and to see exactly how the line started before they, or as soon as they just said, Emerson, we're doing our own thing, screw you, goodbye. Anyways, so yeah, and there were some other catalogs there too, I'm sure I'm forgetting. However, I feel like I've mentioned all the other cool ones. Oh, well, there was also 2012 Monte Carlo. That was sort of cool as well, but not particularly. That was the Monte Carlo, in my opinion, started to slowly just go downhill to what I was not happy with. And by 2014, I was essentially just hating Monte Carlo every year. But anyways, yeah, the point is there were some really awesome catalogs on there that I think would benefit from being on YouTube, and I cannot find any way to access them. I sent it to Dan as well. Me and him were trying to work that out. Actually, because there was also a 2003 Sunset catalog with some cool fans as well that I was trying to figure out when we were doing some research on Sunset and Concorde. But anyways, yeah, so there's a bunch of really interesting things on there, and I tried the web archive, and while you can go and view, like, you can see what it had, like what catalogs were on there, you cannot actually go and scroll through and view them, unfortunately. Of course, I didn't try every single one. If any of you guys would like to, just go into the web archive and try to search some of that up, because these catalogs would seriously be pretty valuable I can imagine they would be valuable to all of us collectors. I don't know if anybody else ever went to these websites. I'm really not too sure. I never asked, honestly. Yeah, as a kid, I did my own thing. I only really got involved with the collecting community a few years ago. Otherwise, I was mostly just on my own, doing my own thing. But, you know, I would definitely love to hear if anybody else has been to that website or if they know of any other ones from childhood. I know that issue.com, ISSUU, has some stuff, not older per se, well, some older stuff, but it's nothing particularly amazing. But yeah, some of the modern companies still post on there whenever they make new catalogs, like I believe Progress, Inkling, Quorum do. I usually check on there because sometimes, and here's a bit of a hint, if you want to see when the new products come out, always double check issue, because the catalogs may come out just a little bit early on those websites instead of the just the regular old company websites. But yeah, the point is that there are a bunch of really cool websites out there, and the Rexel slash Gexpro by far had some of the coolest stuff that I'd ever seen. And yeah, some of those companies, like, well, mostly Sonic, I wouldn't have really heard of or known anything about if it wasn't for that catalog, actually. And there were some really cool fans, and there's some ones that you guys haven't actually seen yet that weren't featured in the catalog that Dan has. So if anybody has got any, oh wait, I just remember there are also some great craft made catalogs on there. I believe there was like there was 2001, I believe, a 99 and a 97, I think. Sorry, but as I'm remembering them, I just want to name drop them in case there's anything of interest. Maybe it motivates you guys to try to go and see if we can rescue those and get those scanned, or well, I say scanned, I mean screen captured or something, because they've already been scanned onto the website. But yeah, there could be some valuable stuff on there that somebody may want to know, and I think it would be really important if we can try to get those I think rescued would be the best term, because they're kind of in just the lost world of internet right now. I don't know when it was, I believe like a year or two ago, but that website essentially, I don't know if I want to say went down, because both of those companies and those names still exist, and you can still visit the websites, but the online catalog part is gone. And yeah, like I said, the web archive is probably your best bet, but if anybody has got any ideas or any ways of pulling those out of wherever they are now and uploading them to YouTube, that would be great. Mostly just so everyone else can see them, because like I said, I don't know how many other people really knew about this website. I certainly did, and I used it all the time. As a kid, I was always allowed these fan breaks, sort of say, at school, and most of those consisted of me just dinking around on that website looking at all those old catalogs. So yeah, it's not necessarily just for me, because by now they're all committed to memory. I could try to name drop everything in there, and I could probably do pretty good, but it's not necessarily good enough. It would be even better if a lot of you guys could also see it. So if anybody is really good at that sort of internet thing, I am not the greatest, that's for sure. But yeah, if anybody is any good at that and wants to try to find those and get them on YouTube, I do highly encourage it. There is some really neat stuff, some stuff that some people might not have seen. Of course, one thing to keep in mind is that also on the web archive, you can visit most of those fan companies' websites and see the same fans, just not in the actual catalog. But I know some people do actually prefer looking in the catalogs. I do as well. It's just because it's essentially a one-stop shop with everything. I mean, sure, that's the website too, but there's so many more moving parts in that than a catalog. Unfortunately, none of the catalogs really seem to get archived on the web archive. It's just the actual website themselves for most of that stuff. But yeah, like I said, if anybody's good at that sort of thing, try to look for it. And yeah, let me know down in the comments if you've been to that website or any other ones like it. And if you make any progress and you're actually able to pull some of that stuff out of there and screen record it and maybe post it, also let me know. I would be very interested in seeing that again, because it has been a few years since I was actually, there, since the site is now down. But yeah, I just thought this would be a really worthy video to make, because there is actually some important stuff on there that I think we would all really like to see. Well, some of you guys who had never seen it would especially like to see. I realistically could handle going my whole life without seeing it again, but I don't necessarily want that to happen either, because there's some cool stuff on there. And I use catalogs a lot, mostly for if I need to identify a fan. Typically I can tell, like, if something's from a certain brand, so I'm just like, oh, okay, well, then I need to go to Minka, for example, because there's a Minka fan above me. I can just go in the catalog, figure out what I'm looking for, and boom, I got pretty much all the information I want. And some of those digital catalogs could essentially do the same thing. And I would say probably my favorite out of all of them is actually this Hunter fan. You guys can try looking it up. I should actually put it into the model search once I'm done recording here. But it was called the Outrigger or something like that. Outrigger. And it was a double ceiling fan, actually. This was really cool. It was kind of like a palisade. It was like black, and it had these wicker blades that sort of like they came out like this and then more formed into a point. And yeah, like I said, there were 2 fans on there, and that was really cool. I believe it was in 2000. It was either 2007 or 2008 Hunter. I think it might have been 2007, but don't quote me on that. I honestly don't remember, but it was one of those 2. And yeah, I was a super, super cool fan. And I don't know if anybody else had seen one or is familiar with that model, but it is actually super cool. But yeah, there is tons of other interesting stuff on there that you guys, I'm sure, would like to. So yeah, if any of you guys can crack the code and figure out how to get it to work, let me know. And also let me know if there are any other fun childhood websites that you guys remember going to. For me, it was all the obvious ones, and that would honestly make for another great topic for just a little discussion sometimes. So maybe we'll do that. But yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.